You're watching the 2024 SCAC Fall Media Days. Today, we're taking a look at the University of the Ozarks cross country programs. Ozarks will be led once again as they head into the season under the guidance of head coach Tony Skiles, along with leadership from juniors Daniel Sanderson and Chloe Weathers. Coach Daniel, Chloe, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Coach, we'll open up with you heading into your second season as the head coach of both of these programs, coming off your first full year a season ago. What did you learn over the course of that first season to help you as you get prepared for year two? And how excited are you to be back, understanding kind of establishing kind of that foundation and now really ready to hit the ground running with these two groups heading into 2024?
So the difference between last year and this year's commitment, we're working on, the team aspect. We're working on people being here, really, put out their whole effort into this program so we can keep growing the way we need to grow.
Daniel, coming into your junior season, second year with Coach Skiles, as I mentioned, how have you seen your role change within this group? I know those first two seasons, maybe just trying to be the best, cross country athlete that you can be. But now, as an upperclassman coming into that junior year, have you seen your role within this group change? And how excited are you to be back with your teammates and getting started for another year here in 2024?
I would say that my role has changed a lot. There are a lot more responsibilities now being as an upperclassman and people looking up to me now. So I think that played a big role in that as well. But I'm really excited about this year. I think we're going to accomplish a lot of great things. So
Well, we coming into this season off of your first year with the Ozarks cross country program last year, an outstanding opening campaign, finishing second at the ASC cross country championships, named ASC newcomer of the year, earning first team all conference honors as well. How did the success that you experienced over the course of that opening year help build your confidence, and what have you continued to work on as a runner heading into this your junior campaign?
Yeah, last year definitely built up my confidence quite a bit. I went a PR last year in both the 5K and 6K by quite a bit. And this year, I'm really excited for the season, but also I'm kind of nervous because I did so well last year. So I'm just hoping that I can maintain that and hopefully PR again this year.
Coach, you mentioned kind of that commitment level and the big change you've noticed from year one to year two. I'm interested as you've started to establish, some of those culture, those values, the foundation, if you will, within these two programs here these first couple of years. What are some of the key things that you've really been hitting on that you hope both of these programs are really taking to heart as they get prepared and start to understand what is expected from you day in and day out?
So we have a young team this year. So the biggest thing we've had with preseason is just hammering, attitude, team, especially team comes first. I know cross country is one of those weird type of sports where you have an individual aspect, but you also have team aspect. And, the biggest example I have for them is like, just like the human body. I tell them all the time, every part of the human body has different parts and it works. When everything puts together, you have one human body. And that's how we look at with cross country is, yes, Daniel and Chloe are our top runners, but we have others too to fill the needs we need to have on this program.
Daniel, Coach talks about obviously, looking at you as one of the top guys on this group heading into this season. You're coming off a spectacular sophomore campaign, a top 15 finish at the ASC, conference championship a year ago, competing at those regionals, finishing the top 120 there. Just, coming off of that season, where are you individually in terms of your confidence? How did you grow as a runner over the course of last year, and what have you continued to work on heading into junior year?
I would say individually, there's a lot that I have to focus on more about. But I would say my confidence has like skyrocketed through the roof. I'm happy at like where I'm coming from, but I'm also excited for what's in front of me. And so I would say going into this year with the new confidence I have and with the new team and the new team, like everybody around me, I guess I'm trying to say, like just having everybody there for me is good.
Chloe, we talked about the success that you've had individually as a runner, but a dual sport athlete there at Ozarks, success in the pool as well as a swimmer. How do you pull from that swimming experience, that competitive spirit that you have continuing in the pool? Is that something that you kind of, I guess, draw from both events and take from both of those things? How do you benefit from being that dual athlete there at Ozarks, and how does it help you your success in the pool help you and try to convert that into success in the cross country course as well?
Yeah, I really enjoy both sports, but I feel like swimming does help me a lot with running just because it helps me build my stamina. But for a while, it was hard to find like a good balance between the two. But once I did, I feel like I was really able to succeed in running and swimming both.
Coach, you talked about the uniqueness of the sport, and we talked before coming on about one of the things I personally love about cross country is the room for growth within an athlete and within a team throughout the course of the season. You talk about having a younger group. What is it that you're looking for from some of these younger runners early on in the season that will give you confidence that there will be that room for growth? And how do you kind of meet that challenge as a coach where maybe there is some frustrations if you're not necessarily running PRs at the beginning, but just allowing them to maintain that, hey, these things can grow and we'll be ready by the time championship is here.
So our philosophy going into our first meet is, just go out there and run. Most of these athletes haven't ran since March, April, maybe May. So they have some, rust to take care of. So we go in, with the mentality of, hey, let's shake it off. Because each week we build from one week to another week. The first 3 meets we have this year are going to be, challenging for us. So I want to show, I want them to, learn from each race. By the time we hit conference, that's when we should really hit our strides, hit our times. Last year showed, our first race wasn't the greatest, but when we hit our conference, we were hitting our best times of the year. So that's the mentality we're going to, keep holding.
And finally, as we wrap up with the two student athletes, Daniel and Chloe, when the two of you have had conversations amongst your teammates about some of the goals and expectations coming into these seasons, what have those conversations looked like? And ultimately, as leaders within your two teams, what's going to be key in trying to accomplishing those goals as a group going into these 2024 seasons?
Like you said, there's also the individual and team aspect of things. Like we all have our own personal goals, but I think the team aspect, I think we're all pretty looking forward to like communication is key and commitment and just pushing each other, being there for each other.
Kind of like what Daniel said. So like we were trying to hang out more and do more team bonding exercises just so we can be closer, so we can learn to work together and just do better in the sport together.
And finally, Coach, as we wrap up with you, success in our sports world can be measured in a ton of different metrics, right? So, when you talk about success with your two programs, what is that message that you try and deliver to your student athletes? And, ultimately, looking at this season, first year in the SCAC, an exciting one for these two programs. These seasons look successful if what plays out over the course of 2024.
The easiest one is growth. If they're growing, that if it's in the classroom or on the course, our teams, like I said before, is super young. So, I just want to see them continue growing, as individuals with the team and everything, and anything can happen. We've seen some young teams, pop out of nowhere and you're just, the shock value of them. With this group, you never know. So we just want to see them grow from day one to the end of, the season.
University of the Ozarks head men's and women's cross country coach Tony Skiles, along with leadership from juniors Daniel Sanderson and Chloe Weathers, the Eagles open up 2024 campaign when they hit the road for the Memphis Twilight on August 31st. Coach, Chloe, Daniel, thanks so much for your time today. Best of luck as you head into the year.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.